about the movie is it wasn't like the other stuff that we saw. It was kind of it was very Hitchcockian. It wasn't like in your face, and even though there was like blood in the movie, it wasn't like overly gory. So, but it was very like subliminal. Like there's I don't want to give anything away about the movie, but there's like a scene towards the end that is like, you know, it doesn't show anything. It basically is just showing like the main character's face, but it kind of implants this idea of what is going on in the room into your head that is just like, you know, just really like creeps you out and makes you like, you know, kind of, you know, feel ooky. And like we definitely had a lot of women, you know, like walk out, you know, of the screening. So, but that, you know, and also like, you know, he didn't like his, you know, like main characters were, you know, very, very, you know, realistic and fun, and even that, like the bad guy in the movie was kind of something that you didn't see. It wasn't, you know, like a masked, you know, crazy, you know, killer. It was, you know, a guy in a biker uniform. So it was because of that, like that it wasn't. It was kind of different. It felt like something. It kind of felt like something that you had seen before, but it was kind of new at the same time. It was very like Duel. You ever see that movie, Steven Spielberg's Duel?
Yeah, of course.
It was very, you know, kind of like that. So, but just because of that, like, you know, just because it was something, you know, so different, and the way, you know, because it was a very micro budget movie. I think it was under $100,000, but you know, it didn't matter. You know, like parts of it looked like it was, you know, shot on a home video camera. But, you know, because of those little things, it just, you know, kind of added to the, you know, kind of the creepiness and the tension of the whole thing. And the movie's called Rage, but it has been, like, winning, like, it's been taking home prizes at, like, every film festival it's been in. So I think at the time it had already won, like, 13, you know, like, best of, you know, awards. So I'm probably pretty sure he's going to get picked up for distribution soon, but that was the one we picked that we thought was the best one. And then the guy that best director was this guy named I think it was Jason Christopher. I'm sorry, there's so many names I get them mixed up sometimes. But he directed this movie called Down the Road, which while it wasn't necessarily, you know, that original, there was something about it that was just kind of cool, and you know, kind of made it stand out from the other films. But, you know, all the ones that we selected, you know, to actually play at HorrorQuest, there's something about them that we all, like, kind of felt was kind of unique and kind of cool, even if, you know, some of them had, you know, had some things in them that you might have, you know, already seen before. So. But,
so I also understand that you've even, you know, the ink is hardly dry on the, you know, the last festival. I mean, this thing only took place in October. And you've already issued a call for next year's festival, right, for submission?
Not yet. It's going to be at the end of this month. So
okay. Right.
So probably within the next 2 weeks or so, we'll probably go ahead and put out a call for, you know, start up this year. I wanted to give us a little bit more time because you know, last year was kind of like our learning experience, and you know, I don't think we left, you know, gave us, you know, enough time between the end of submissions and, you know, when we, you know, actually posted everything. So we're doing it, we're kind of, you know, kickstarting it, you know, about a month early this year. So, but yeah, probably in the next couple weeks we'll, you know, post on the website, you know, that, you know, we're looking for stuff from this year. And we've already been getting them in. One thing about that I've learned about, like, film festivals is, like, the people submitting don't always follow the rules. So, like, you know, you keep getting movies in, you know, even if you're not, you know, asking for submissions. So I think during the last, you know, month or two, we've already gotten in about, like, 10 other movies that, you know, I don't know if they just missed the last one and just decided to go ahead and send them in. But yeah, so we've definitely already gotten some in from next year. But I'm kind of looking forward to see what people have in store, because some of the filmmakers that submitted this year, you know, I'd like to stay in touch with, you know, as many of them as I can. And they've already said that, you know, they have stuff ready to go for this year. So it would kind of be cool to see, the same people, submit year after year. So looking forward.
And the other thing I want to get in before we sort of shut this down a little bit here is I know that you've had a podcast. I've listened to a few episodes of that myself. Well, why did you start it? If the film festival is so successful, why did you feel the need to start a podcast?
Well, it was, I don't know. It's like I like podcasts, and there's definitely a bunch of them that I listen to. And I always wanted to have one, but, there's so many out there now. It seems like, everybody and their, grandmother has a podcast nowadays. Right. And you can get lost in them. Like, you never know, like, what to listen to. So I just didn't want to do another one that was, a bunch of people sitting around talking about what they thought of, current movies. And, I kind of saw the film festival as a way to, not only, almost have an endless supply of guests, but, at the same time it would maybe be, a little bit something different for people to listen to instead of, listen to, people talking about what they thought of a movie. You might be able to get to hear, what somebody's experience was working on the movie. So that's kind of why I did it. And plus, too, it's, I think it's kind of fun, and, I enjoy doing it. But we haven't done a new one in a while, but hopefully here in the next week or two, we'll, start up get going again and have one every week. But yeah, it's something I definitely enjoy doing. And to my knowledge, I don't know of any other film festival that has a podcast other than, I think Sundance might have one, but it's it's not like ours. It's not like people just sitting down, talking about the movie. So, but yeah, that's kind of why we did it. I mean, kind of for the same reasons, why we I started up the film festival, just to give people a voice and have a chance to, talk about what they're doing. Because it's the same reason probably why you do yours, because.
Well, yeah, I mean, I started mine because I like talking about movies, and mine was basically started on a dare. I like to tell people, that I had a friend of mine who was doing the same thing for indie musicians, and I said, you could easily turn this around and do it for indie film, and he goes, that's a good idea, you go do it. And that's how I started mine, so. But I mean, I've listened to your show, and yours is kind of cool because you have a good balance of, talking about the, the studio stuff and, just the stuff that you enjoy, but also having, people on to talk about their actual work too, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, well, we're still learning. We still kind of, I think our first show is like a little bit of a disaster, but I think as it's been going on, we kind of, we kind of learn, the error of our ways, and I think we, kind of plan a little bit more before we do something, but still, we just kind of like to go by the seat of our pants and just like talk to people rather than, have a big thing of, like questions, to kind of ask them. So, but yeah, I like your show too. I think I posted a review of it on your on your page.
Yeah, I appreciate that too, by the way. Yeah, that was very helpful.
You should get it on iTunes. I don't see it on iTunes.
Hey, you know what? I've wrestled with the iTunes thing. I'm trying to. That's one of my to-dos for next year, and I've tried it a couple of times. I haven't been able to get it to work properly, but that I know I'm doing something wrong. But I'm gonna get a friend of mine over here one day and just finally get that set up. But you're right, I should do that. So
yeah, I thought it was pretty easy. Like the HorrorQuest is on. Not only is it on TalkShoe, but we're on like Podbean and iTunes as well. So
yeah, I've got it hooked into a couple of them, but Blueberry, I think the show's hooked in through there. So. But, so one last thing before we sort of get going here, but where can people go to learn more about your work? Where can people go to learn more about HorrorQuest or to listen to your show? Where can people go?
They can go to it's thehorrorquest.com, and that's our website for everything about HorrorQuest, and we have information on there. Like we're going to be posting, our new information on, if they want to submit a film, and there's information about like if they want to sponsor the film festival, and that's something that we kind of want to do. This year we want to have like actual sponsors, helping us out. And then we're also going to be starting a Indiegogo campaign here in the next couple weeks. So hopefully that'll pay. We want to kind of do it to raise enough money that it would be able to sustain us for a couple years. Because the cost of actually doing making sure that HorrorQuest goes on isn't necessarily all that much, but we want to constantly keep growing and like advertising was something that we didn't have this past year, so we'd like to be able to advertise, have posters and flyers and stuff like that. But other than that, the biggest way they can help us out is just follow us on Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that, because that's what the potential sponsors are going to be looking at. They want to make sure that we have a little bit of a following, and it's going to be worth their time. So.
Have you ever? This is sort of a networking opportunity here for you. But have you ever spoken with Kristen Thomas?
What does she do?
She's a producer in North Carolina. I had her on my show last week, and she's been on my show once before. Beyond that, but she's a producer, and she's also a bit of a product placement expert. I think she might be able to help you too. So you know what? Indie Film Girl on Twitter, by the way. If you
I think she might follow us.
If I were you, I would connect with her because she knows what she's doing, and she's a very, very helpful person too.
Yeah, I would love to get kind of my end goal for HorrorQuest. I would love for it to be my full-time job, if I just didn't have to do anything else. But if we could land kind of one of the bigger kind of sponsors Comcast or Coca-Cola, I think that would be, kind of like a dream come true. So, but yeah, I'll definitely, I'll have to give her a shout.
So we've been talking with Joseph Arden, who's the president of the HorrorQuest Film Festival in Atlanta, Georgia. The website that you can go to, and we got a shout out here for the billboards that you have, by the way. Really, really nice, billboards. One of the comments that we got in the chat room. But again, the website for this is thehorrorquest.com. Don't forget the "the" in there. So thehorrorquest.com. If you want information on that, they're going to be issuing a call for entries pretty soon. Get them in early. He's also going to be having a crowdfunding campaign. So if you're interested in that, I'll be tweeting out the link as soon as I see it. So. I guess that's going to about do it for us tonight. Joseph, any closing thoughts before we shut this down?
No, man, just thanks for having me on. Maybe we can try to get you on our show one night.
I'd be happy to. So, and again, great work with the festival and great work with the show, too. It's been a lot of fun. So that's going to about do it for us tonight. I'm going to be on tomorrow at noon with Guy Magar, who has written a book. And again, if you're in the indie community at all, I would strongly recommend, if you're into indie horror, I mean, he did a lot of indie horror, too. He directed Stepfather 3. And a couple of other things. So I'm going to be talking with him tomorrow about all the adventures that he's, gone on in his filmmaking career. I'm going to go totally fanboy. I've been looking forward to this interview for 2 weeks. So, again, tune in for that tomorrow at noon. So, again, on behalf of my guest, Joseph Harden, you've been listening to Casey Ryan on the cutting room floor. Talk to you tomorrow.